everybody. I'm Bruce Marshall. Saturday night NFL preseason action. The topic on the table right now. How about those Cowboys winning for the first time in 8 preseason openers last week when they topped the Seahawks up in Seattle 17-7? Are they going to keep the momentum going this week? What about one of these position battles that's really been the talk of the training camp summer for the Cowboys? And we'll get more answers on that on Saturday night. We'll talk about that more in a second. And how about the Cardinals? Now they're playing their 3rd preseason game. So far, so good for Arizona under new head coach Mike LaFleur. What's the angle we're looking at here tonight? There's a few of them. We'll talk about them in just a second. First of all, though, quick housekeeping reminder. As always, don't forget, click that subscribe button on the screen right there. Make sure you get all of our WagerTalk TV videos. And remember, we're coming up really quick on football season, coming up hard on college football and the NFL. That means the Goldsheet time of year. And once we get into the regular season, the Goldsheet will be weekly covering all the games as it always has since 1957. So go up online to the WagerTalk site, click the Goldsheet icon. Make sure you can line yourself up to get the Goldsheet when the season starts here in a couple of weeks. Also, don't forget, for me, picks are up there today. We'll have some more NFL preseason for you. Major League Baseball won a game last night on the total with an under with the Royals and the Tigers. I've also got a 5% college football top choice for week 0. That's next Saturday, August 29th. We already have that posted up there, a 5% top choice, week 0 college football up at my site at WagerTalk right now. Okay, let's talk about this Cardinals and Cowboys game tonight down at State Farm Stadium, Glendale, Arizona. There might be more Cowboy fans showing up tonight. A lot of them live in the Valley of the Sun anyway, but it should be kind of interesting. Kickoff tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, and the Cardinals hosting tonight. This will also be on the NFL Network, where you can watch as well. Checking out the crawl at the bottom of the screen. Prices here. This is about as close to pick 'em here. You got a very slight favorite here for Arizona, about 1.5. So close to pick 'em there. You see on the money line, very tight again. Arizona, a little favorite there, about -118, and -102 on the Cowboys side. If you want to go on the money line, which might be a possibility. Also, the total here, 37.5. It's split about both ways. And that's something to look at as well. And we'll be talking about that in just a second. What do we got here tonight in Glendale with the Cowboys and the Cardinals? And we talked about Dallas last week. That was an impressive showing up in Seattle. And like we mentioned, after losing 7 straight preseason openers, spanning 3 different coaching regimes, back to Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy, and then last year, Brian Schottenheimer. Well, Schottenheimer turned the trick. They finally got the win in the opener last week against Seattle. Not wanting to get too carried away by it. Seattle located pretty much. A lot of that last week went down, I think, because Jalen Milroe, the backup Seattle quarterback, really struggled last week. Give the Dallas defense some credit. But the Cowboys looked a little more with some purpose last week, and we saw an interesting twist. Now, Schottenheimer kept most all the starters out. Didn't see Dak Prescott last week. We were a little bit surprised to see Sam Howell get the start at quarterback last week. We had heard there's a quarterback battle going on in the Cowboys camp, backup quarterback battle. We know Dak Prescott's going to be the starter. But Joe Milton, the holdover, and Sam Howell, who has started in this league before a couple of years ago at Washington, waging a pretty spirited battle in camp. They thought maybe Howell nudged ahead a bit, and maybe that's why he got the start last week. There's a chance that Schottenheimer might go with Howell again, or he could give Milton the look at the start. Either way, it's going to be both of those guys taking the majority, if not all, the snaps for Dallas again this week. And they moved the ball fairly effectively with both of them last week. Howell impressed in his stint as well. So they're kind of excited about the way the backup quarterback battle is going there. That is one of the stories of training camp in Dallas, and that's never a bad thing in preseason. You got some motivated backups here trying to find their place on the roster and their place in the pecking order. We'll see how that works out for Dallas here tonight. Also have to mention preseason action this weekend thus far, and sometimes results kind of track each other. We talked last week about how we saw more unders than overs last week. 12-4 to the under, or 11-5 to the under, depending upon when somebody might have got down on the Raiders and Cardinals total last week. But thus far in this weekend in preseason action, second full weekend, we've had 5 games and 4 of them have gone over thus far. And we saw 2 of the 3 go over last night. Again, these totals are not too high. They're reduced about 5 or 6 points from the regular season. And they're following suit here tonight down in Glendale at 37.5. The Cardinals are playing their third preseason game. And thus far, Mike LaFleur, they lost the last play of the game, the opener against Carolina, but they saw a lot of things that they liked, especially offensively, as LaFleur keeping his pedal to the metal here. And they're being very aggressive with their play calling, trying to get their new system installed. And the quarterbacks have generally been executing pretty well. And very sharp last week against the Raiders in that 27-14 win at Allegiant Stadium. Now, starters probably not going to play tonight, and that would include Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. We saw him for one series last week, and he led a touchdown march early in the game against the Raiders last week, but he is expected to sit, as all the starters are. LaFleur is apparently looking toward the scrimmages against Green Bay and his brother Matt before next week's preseason game to look at his starters, and he will use the backups here tonight and probably again for the game against the Packers next week. The starters get their work in the scrimmaging. But even without Brissett, Gardner Minshew will get the start at quarterback, expected to play into the third quarter. And Minshew looked pretty effective last week against the Raiders, 14 for 16. He moved the offense pretty consistently. He's been around in the league. He's solidifying his backup role there, and he's been an effective preseason quarterback in the past. And I think he can get the offense moving like he's done thus far. Now, Carson Beck, the rookie from Miami, who looked so good in the opener against the Panthers, missed last week with sore ribs, probably won't go again, probably sit this one out. So that means we'll see Keaton Slovis again, former Pitt, USC quarterback. But he's also moved the offense some in the preseason too. And we'll probably see him in the second half after Minshew. Third preseason game, things are working pretty well for Arizona. Like we said, the defensive starters, both ways, you're looking at backups defensively too tonight. And I think there's a chance the pattern this weekend has been over. I think we'll see more scoring from Dallas this week, especially as this backup quarterback battle continues. And the same thing could happen with Arizona. Minshew has looked pretty good as well. I'm looking for another over here tonight, following the pattern we've been seeing thus far this weekend in the preseason. 37.5 is not that high of a total. I think this one goes over tonight down in the desert. We'll see what happens. So it's Cowboys Cardinals over for me tonight down in Glendale. Okay, don't forget, as always, click the comment box on the screen there. Let me know what you're thinking. I always love to hear from you. And don't forget, the Goldsheet is coming up really quick. Regular season starting soon. We'll be covering all the games starting very soon. So go up at the WagerTalk site, click the Goldsheet icon. Make sure you get involved for the regular season Goldsheet coming up really quick. And check out my picks up there today for more preseason football, Major League Baseball, and like I said, that 5% top choice for college football, week 0 next Saturday. That's up there right now at my site at WagerTalk. Okay, so until next time, that's a goodbye from me.